Hi, everybody, and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are at the Charleston Heights Art Center, where there is a fascinating exhibit on display honoring Folies Bergère. We're going to take a closer look a little bit later on, but first we're going to start with a very serious topic. Las Vegas, like so many other cities, faces the ongoing issue of homelessness. Now, it's not a new issue, and it's not something city leaders have just started to try to tackle. For decades, new ideas and programs have been implemented, some successful, some not. At the November 6th City Council meeting, a new ordinance was approved by our city leaders aimed at getting people off the streets and into shelters and programs that can help them. It's a difficult task to answer the call of residents, business owners, and visitors who say they are tired of dealing with the unsanitary conditions left behind by people camping on the streets, the panhandling, and often the hindrance to conducting business, all the while trying to get the homeless off the streets in a dignified manner and get them to the help that is available for them.
Good morning, everyone. The November 6, 2019 meeting of the City Council is called to order.
On November 6th, the Las Vegas City Council passed a new ordinance aimed at doing all of that. To say it was met with enthusiasm from all would be less than accurate. Our mayor, Carolyn Goodman, managed to calm the crowd with her word that they would get a chance to speak, but would not be allowed to disrupt proceedings.
If you care and really care, you will sit down and observe the decorum of this body who is taking everything in earnest and with dignity, and I expect the same from each of you.
Most who were present did adhere to protocol. Those who did not were escorted out.
Excuse me, anybody? You may go right out also.
Once the meeting was underway, City Attorney Brad Jerbick headed up a presentation explaining the new ordinance, which he admitted from the start tackles a difficult problem.
This is a very, very, very complicated issue. One that cannot be distilled into, we need more bathrooms, we need more transitional housing, we need more of this. We all know that. If they were that easy, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
He also explained the goal is not to imprison the homeless. It's to free them from the streets by directing them to help.
If there are no shelter beds available, we don't enforce, period. There will be no arrests, there will be no citations, there will be nothing. If there are shelter beds, and we're responsible for finding out if there are shelter beds, then we will enforce to the limit that those shelter beds get full up.
He explained the city will even go so far as to transport anyone who chooses to go to a shelter. Dr. Lisa Morris-Hibbler, Chief Community Services Officer for the city, spoke of the Courtyard, where a myriad of services are available to help get people housed, hired, and healthy. The city dedicated $16 million to develop and launch the Courtyard. Since it opened in 2017, more than 28,000 requests for services have been taken, and many who turn to the Courtyard are now employed.
The city has demonstrated a commitment of providing critical service to individuals and families experiencing homelessness, and we will continue to meet people where they are, to offer low barrier solutions, and to help people navigate the path from homelessness to permanent supportive housing or self-sufficiency.
Also included in the report was this fact. The city spends $2.7 million a year on homeless cleanup efforts because urban encampments not only endanger the people sleeping on the streets, they endanger all of us.
If we have huge piles of trash, if we have body waste, if we have putrescent waste, if we have those things occurring, then they result in certain diseases or can result in certain disease-related outbreaks. Those include staph infections, antibiotic-resistant staph infections, also known as MRSA, hepatitis A, Bartolona quintana, which is also known as trench fever, based on World War I outbreaks, Shigella, tuberculosis, and typhoid. And so we routinely clean out encampment-related areas trying to stay in front of that.
Public comment was taken for hours from those for and against the proposed ordinance.
The issue of persistent and pervasive homelessness that faces our community is complex and requires consistent and sustained efforts from many organizations. The city and the business community have taken several important steps towards addressing the issue of homelessness.
Well, I went to Catholic school, and our field trips were to homeless shelters to talk to them, to see them as human beings. And I hope that you see them as that. And this ordinance, sadly, as long as it has an aspect of criminalization, takes away their humanity.
At the end of a very long, emotional meeting, each council member was able to state their support or opposition, with the mayor getting the final word. She told those in attendance the time for holding meetings and forming more committees is over. It's time to take a step toward a solution.
We are the city of Las Vegas. And I am asking you to understand that this is not penalty-oriented. This is not a criminal. This is to get our homeless into an environment of re-entry into the best life in this community.
The ordinance went into effect November 10th. However, the penalties will not go into effect until February of next year. Now, during that very long meeting and in that previous story, we mentioned the Courtyard. That's a project that was launched by the city of Las Vegas a couple of years ago with about a $16 million price tag. It attempts to address homelessness in a unique way by not just providing beds, but providing services all in one area. We want to give you a closer look at the Courtyard and introduce you to two men who credit the Courtyard with getting them off the streets. Las Vegas city leaders, nonprofits, businesses, and volunteers are constantly in the trenches fighting what some may think is a losing battle. But Las Vegas is not raising a white flag in this fight. Instead, we are always looking for new and innovative ways to get people off the streets and into dignified, safe housing. One of the latest efforts is this, the Courtyard. It may not look new and shiny. That's because remodeling and reconstruction are an ongoing process at this point. So really what is amazing is that even in the midst of the dust, the Courtyard is still turning out success story after success story. We'd like you to meet a couple of men who credit the Courtyard with giving them back their lives.
My name is William Kite, William Kight.
Stephen Quackenbush, StevenQuakenbush.
William and Stephen, or Will and Steve as they like to call each other, had never met before landing on the streets of Las Vegas. In fact, they come from opposite ends of the country. Will is from the East Coast, Steve is from the West.
I had a mental episode when I was in Maryland. I'm from the East Coast. On a Sunday afternoon, 2015, started driving. Halfway through Kansas, I made a left and came to Vegas, and I've been here ever since.
It was Steve who first discovered the Courtyard, and although he'd found little success getting back on his feet in the past, he decided to give life one last shot.
So I started volunteering over there, and it ended up being from just dumping trash to doing it every day, and then the city approached me and asked me if I'd like to be lead volunteer. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of reluctant at first, but then I was like, oh yeah, you know, and it just grew from there.
Fast forward a few months, Steve is working here full-time, getting a paycheck and living in an apartment. He remembered that friend he met while living on the streets and decided to give Will a fateful hand up.
I had a good friend that I had met, and he said, come along and we're gonna have a fun ride. And we've been together ever since, and we've been working together ever since, and we're trying to get to the end.
All right, baby, how you doing today? Hi.
So what makes this Courtyard different? Why did it work for them? Several things, but Steve and Will say homeless people are more willing to accept help from those who've been in their shoes in the past. That's why the city strives to hire those who've been on the streets. It garners a feeling of, if they can do it, just maybe I can too.
There's a lot of trust, and that's a big thing out here. You know, people won't, without that trust, a lot of times they won't even approach you.
A lot of our input is put into action.
Steve and Will remember how treasured their few belongings were. The Courtyard listened. There are hundreds of new clean bins with locks. They are assigned to people who want to sleep peacefully knowing their belongings are safe, or go out and look for work knowing when they return they will still have the things that are important to them. There's even a locked shed for people who must leave here to go to the hospital or leave for an extended period with the intent to return.
The only people that have keys for this is us and security, and that's all.
Aside from wanting to keep their belongings safe, another big reason people don't want to leave the streets is they don't want to leave their pets. Here, there's a clean, safe kennel for pets of all kinds.
We've got dogs here right now, we've got cats, we've got parakeets.
There are clean bathrooms and showers, and although sleeping facilities separate men and women, there is a safe place for children and families. Just about anything you need can be found here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And Steve says it's offered up with dignity, thanks to some wonderful community partners.
The way people are treated when they come to the Courtyard. They're treated as people. They're not they're not our clients, they're not just the homeless person. They're our guests.
At the end of the workday, instead of trying to find a place to lay their head huddled on the streets, these two friends head to their own apartments, where they are warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and safe year-round. They just want others to know it can be done.
Come here. Just come here and talk to somebody.
All it takes is the will. If I can do it from no support and get up off the street, anybody can do it. And we're here to help. And the only way you're going to get help is if you ask for help.
There was a lot of disagreement at that meeting, and the disagreement will continue. The only thing everyone agrees on is this is not an issue that anyone intends to give up on. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take you swimming and introduce you to some adaptive sports. Congratulations to the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month, Ryan Yoro. Ryan is a technical systems analyst and does an amazing job streamlining many behind-the-scenes functions, making it easier for citizens to conduct their business with municipal court. Ryan has also worked with staff on workflow procedures to make sure information is quickly and clearly communicated, resulting in a better experience for our citizens. For those who have business with the court, this turns what could be a stressful or frustrating experience into a much easier and stress-free visit to our court. For all you do for city staff and citizens, we thank you and congratulate you, Ryan Yoro, the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month. Welcome back to City Beat from the Charleston Heights Arts Center. A little bit later on, we're going to give you a closer look at this exhibit on display that pays tribute to a Parisian-style cabaret that landed on the Strip in 1959. But first, we're going to do a segment of Discover the Fun. For this segment, Sue Levitt takes us for a dip of Pavilion Pool and shows us some new adaptive sports.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the beautiful Pavilion Pool, where you can enjoy swimming all year round, which is exactly what kids from our Stepping Stone program are doing here today. Now, if you've not heard of Stepping Stone, this is an adaptive recreational program offered through the City of Las Vegas. And today, these kids are all about getting in on the synchronized swimming and water polo action.
So slowly just like this, fingers together. Good. And then you want to go like this.
Before the kids jump in the pool, they learn some of the basics of synchronized swimming.
There you go.
These kids are part of our Stepping Stone program designed for teens with developmental disabilities. The program aims to encourage kids to step outside their comfort zones, and today they are certainly doing just this.
How does it feel? Is it comfortable?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
All right, good job.
Synchronized swimming and water polo can be two very tricky activities, but these kids are up to the challenge while still having a lot of fun, of course.
Hi. Hi, Jim.
This is honestly my dream job. I couldn't ask for anything better. I absolutely love it. The kids are always great, and they're always willing to try. They're scared, like I said, but once you get them in and comfortable, they're great.
Lindsay Walters heads up our Stepping Stone program. She takes the kids on many different adventures, including skiing, hiking, paddleboarding, and rock climbing.
We've been rock climbing before at Red Rock Canyon. We actually got to go out with the ropes and the harnesses, everything. It was really amazing to see them. They loved it.
Today's synchro and water polo activity is a first for the kids, and from the looks on their faces, they'll most likely be returning to the pool.
I just hope they come out smiling, of course, and just really show them that they can do anything if they try. That's all I'm about. I always love giving opportunities to these children. That way they can experience something new.
Our Stepping Stone program is open to anyone that wants to join the fun, teens with or without disabilities.
So I'm gonna get some weights out to help you guys.
For more information, you can go to 229play or LasVegasParksandRec.com. Thank you, Sue, for that story. Now, while the aquatics adaptive sports are very exciting, the city doesn't stop at a swimming pool. We have all kinds of adaptive sports. Here's a small taste of what is offered and what it means to those who participate.
If a person has a disability nowadays, believe in yourself, believe in your family, and reach out and find someone like ourselves, and they'll come out and totally help change everything. So don't give up.
Once again, for more information on adaptive sports and everything Parks and Rec, you can go to 229play or LasVegasParksandRec.com. Moving from sports to education. You know, technology is changing so quickly it's hard to keep up. So imagine being a young student with an interest in technology, yet not having the tools available to get hands-on experience. That happens in areas that are underserved due to the economic climate. Well, now, thanks to a local company, students can head over to the West Las Vegas Library and immerse themselves in high-tech education. There are a lot of moving parts zipping across the floor here at the West Las Vegas Library without people physically pushing or pulling them. That's because they are moving thanks to robotics. Welcome to the library's brand new Robot Lab, where students can get hands-on experience in programming and operating these busy metallic worker bees. This was all made possible thanks to the generosity of Switch Las Vegas, a company that knows a little bit about technology and its increasing role in our world.
It's our pleasure to be here to sponsor this event and this incredible space for this community. Switch is very philanthropic and reinvests in the community in a variety of ways, and our sweet spot is robotics and STEAM education.
Switch is a world-renowned data center company with a core location in Las Vegas. So when the Las Vegas Clark County Library District Board and Las Vegas City Councilman Cedric Creer learned an increasing number of young students with an interest in technology were not being served, they decided to see if Switch could help out.
And we put together a proposal, and it was really just sort of a wish list of maybe they'll do it, right? You know how that conversation goes, well, let's reach out to them. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll do it. Well, lo and behold, they did it. And it's fantastic, right? Yeah. Round of applause.
So if you use RAD, that's what's going to make him go to sleep. How does he wake him up?
That proposal turned into this lab in the West Las Vegas Library that introduces the world of robotics and technology to some students while advancing other students who already have an interest in this high-tech world. The lab would not have been possible without the Switch grant.
Our revenues are still not back up to what they were before the recession. And with that in mind, Switch stepped forward and said, we understand that you need this to help a community move forward technologically, and because of that we have this robotics lab powered by Switch.
You need only look around at these students and the instructors to see this is not only an enriching educational facility, it's a fun place for kids to visit. Most importantly, it opens the door to the kind of training these students will need to succeed in the types of jobs that will carry them into our future, which benefits them, of course, but benefits our community as well.
Oh my gosh, this is so incredible to look around and see all these kids who are so excited to be able to use all this new equipment, learn all these new techniques, and quite frankly, at these young ages, be able to build an incredible assortment of workforce skills that are going to be so vital in the future.
As you guys know, we have a lot of plans for the Historic West Side. We have a lot of plans to get people ready, trained, and prepared to go to work. We have to get people ready for the jobs of the future. This is the start of that. It starts today in our community where we start and train our kids who do have a desire to learn, who do want to be cutting edge, and who do want to go out and change the course of the river, as I say.
The West Las Vegas Library is located at 951 West Lake Mead Boulevard. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll give you a closer look at this fascinating exhibit that pays tribute to a Parisian cabaret that landed at the Tropicana Hotel in 1959.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it here. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the site.
Drop that baby.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew she was special.
Welcome back to City Beat from the Charleston Heights Arts Center. There is a new exhibit on display here that pays tribute to the Parisian cabaret that opened at the Tropicana Hotel Christmas Eve of 1959. You'll only love it if you love beautiful women and glitter. Folies Bergère will be here at Charleston Heights until January 11th of 2020. We're going to really switch gears here. The days of people breaking into your home and stealing TVs and jewelry may not be over, but the really valuable thing they want is our identity, which is something they can actually get by digging through your trash, sort of like the old adage, one man's trash is another man's treasure. sort of. But that's why our city council members hold shredding events year-round all across the city. It's an easy and convenient way for you to get rid of personal information before it falls into the wrong hands.
Thanks, honey.
No, Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore is not emptying residents' trash. She's emptying something much more valuable. They're sensitive documents that will go from this trash bin to a shredding machine. This shredding event is one of many she and our other city council members host all across the city all through the year. We spoke to her about why this is so important.
A lot of us don't realize, but we'll throw our bills away, we'll throw our credit cards away, we'll throw important documents away. Or there's sometimes people, when they renew a credit card or they get a new credit card in the mail, they'll throw the old one out. And it's very, it's unsafe. So shredding it just ensures that the documents of your personal information is secure.
Don't let the long line of cars intimidate you. People do line up early, but once the shredding begins, right on time by the way, this line moves like a well-oiled machine. 175 cars came through this event here in the parking lot of Centennial Hills Park and YMCA.
As soon as they start hearing that our shredding events are happening, people line up, like literally line up. They wait in the cars. It's really easy. We take all the stuff out and we shred it.
So from your trunk to the trash and directly to the shredding truck. This company, Shred It, takes every step to make sure your documents are disposed of properly. Our city council would never let your privacy land in the hands of people they don't trust.
The city of Las Vegas has used Shred It for many, many years, and we are really happy that they work with us in all of our wards to do these shredding events.
There will be another one here in Ward 6 in March, so watch out for that. And check with your council representative. There are others across the city. It's a great way to unload sensitive paperwork and get a chance to check in with your council representative.
I'll see you again in March. Okay.
Again, all of our city council members hold these shredding events across the city. Even if you have a little shredder at home, this is a great way to make sure that large bundles of your mail and personal information can be destroyed before someone can get their hands on it. Well, that does it for another edition of City Beat. We want to thank you for joining us from the Charleston Heights Arts Center. The Folies Bergère exhibit will be here through January 11th of 2020. As we say goodbye, we're going to take you to a Ward 5 event, a Halloween Carnival at Doolittle Community Center. We'll see you for the next City Beat.
So let's have some fun tonight, you guys. We came out, you come out, you come out to support our community. Thank you guys very much. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. So get ready, get prepared, and let's have some fun tonight, you guys. Thank you.